Hello, so it's time for another webcam stream. I'll do an hour tonight till about 9 o'clock. And as you can see, the grenades I ordered came, so thank you to Weapon Collector for finding these. Soviet F1 grenades, which is a really cool designer grenade. Deactivated, obviously. You can see they're deactivated because obviously at the bottom's been cut off and there's nothing in them. Evening to everybody. And with these as well, you can take off this because they had different detonator kind of things you could have put on them. So you can unscrew that, and then obviously you can see through the grenade. So you can see that's deactivated because so interestingly enough, this one's had the firing pin taken out when they've deactivated it, but the other one hasn't, so I'll show you that. I'm not going to pull the pin and everything because it's really annoying trying to reset the firing pin. So yeah, this is, I think they're meant to be Polish copies of the Soviet F1 grenade, but pretty much all the Warsaw Pact use these. But this is basically the F1 V2 apparently, and this is the F1 V3. Polish apparently, but it's the Soviet design. Ah, cool, Peach. You got a deactivated one as well, have you? Or a replica one. But yeah, this one, you might be able to see there, the firing pin is still in it. I don't know why that's going to show up. Let me just get a torch and see if I can shine it in for you. But yeah. So once I pulled the pin on this one, I had to spend ages trying to resort the firing pin. D&B Militaria, same place I got my deactivated guns from. But they have got some grenades in, but not many Cold War grenades. Most of the ones they have in are... hopefully you can see that there. See the firing pin there? The firing pin's still in this one. And yeah, it does come down and would work as a firing pin, but obviously there's no explosive filler in the grenade. Yeah, I like tea. I like coffee as well. Cool. Yeah, I didn't really want to bother getting replica grenades just because I wanted to get a real deactivated one, so I've got two. So, yeah, these are very cool. They weigh quite a lot. It surprises me how much they weigh. Apparently, when they've got the filler, they're about 600 grams each, so that's pretty hefty for something, you know, that fits in your hand like that. Here's Soviet Union, and here's something from the Soviet Union on one of the satellites. So yeah, Soviet F1s. Apparently this is a design they had since World War II, and they kept using them till pretty much the end of the Cold War. But I guess if it works, it works. So a defensive grenade, which means you probably can't throw this far enough that it won't kill you or maim you. So these are meant to be used with a tripwire or thrown if you're in very heavy cover. So I guess if you're in a building, you could throw it out a window into the street, but you can't throw it in an open field. Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, I do like the weight in that of having a real grenade, because obviously pretty solid. GP5M is better, Frosty, because it's the same mask just with a voice diaphragm on, as you can see. There's ear holes as well in the GP5M, but 5 deactivated guns, the SLR, the Lee Enfield, PPSH, and an RPK, and the M1 carbine. But you can't see all them in frame, but... So yeah, it's very satisfying holding a grenade for some reason. I mean, if it was a live grenade, I don't think I'd be that happy doing this with it, but yeah, quite cool. So yeah, there's probably still some of these in stock if anyone's interested. So they're on D&B Militaria, and they are, I think, £25 each. So it was £57, I think, in total for the 2 grenades and like the Courier. I've actually got them on display when I'm not doing the video. Where the Geiger counter has that space on the shelf there, that's where I've got them. So they sit there. If you want to read the stuff on the grenades, that's what this one says. I've not got the other light on because it's quite hot, so apologies if that's not really in focus. Yeah, I don't think the webcam wants to focus on that. Oh, just about. And the other one has this on it. If it focuses. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody. Yeah, a bit of writing at the top, but... Ah, cool. How much was that, if you don't mind me asking? Because I'd love to get a Yugoslav Kevlar helmet, but I've never really seen them for sale. And generally, stuff like that can be quite expensive. Number 1 Mark III, is it? I think it's Mark III Star, technically, somebody said to me in the comments. But yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Right, so I'll pull the pin on this one because this one's not live. Well, neither of them are live, obviously, but this one's not even got the live firing pin. So where the metal's like that, I might have to crimp that back into shape, but there we go. So what would happen, you'd pull the pin. Then what happens if this one was thing, as you can see the spoons, sort of the handles coming out. If that was connected to a working spring mechanism on this one, which this one isn't, where they've deactivated it, I think technically, yeah, the spring comes up on its own, but what you'd have happen is this bit goes in like that underneath. So what would happen, obviously, if the spring was live and active, would be that you pull that, once you let go of this, it essentially lets the spring drop. And then obviously that makes the firing pin hit the firing cap inside that would be there. Then you have the fuse starts burning, and then obviously when the fuse finishes burning, the explosive charge goes off. No, sadly never seen an M3 for sale. That's cool. This one, Peach says UZRGM 354 P7870, also 474, and it's quite rusted there, so I can't read that bit. This one says 1571 UZRGM IRV, because this one's actually sort of readable, where if the webcam wants to focus again. Come on. Don't think it wants to focus. There you go. I don't know if they all say that. I have a feeling when I was reading up on the F1, some of them for years, some for not as long. Depends on which one. Oh, that was annoying. I was on the Wikipedia page and then it just closed. Let's have a look. Apparently, Peach, the UZRGM is Universil Zapal Rochna Granta Modinozhizavani or something, which means Universal Igniter Hand Grenade Improved. So basically, it's just an acronym for a long name to say it's the improved design of the fuse, basically. Yeah, I always try and reply to comments if I can, if they're sensible comments or whatever. Sometimes if people are talking amongst themselves in the comments, I don't get a chance to reply, or, you know, there's no point me replying. All right, you're not really copying my username. You're completely free to do that, as long as you're not trying to call yourself Weapons and Stuff 93. You're completely fine to say and stuff and whatever year or whatever. There's no point me getting one of those, mate, because when I've seen them for sale, they're still about £100. They take up a lot of space, and I have a modern IR thing that's exactly the same kind of thing. It just takes modern batteries, and it's much smaller. If you're interested, I have the Night Fox. I think it's ATR is the name of my night vision thing. And again, it's going to be better than the old Soviet things, and it's, you know, like about the same price, runs on modern batteries, much safer to look through because of the sort of ionizing stuff that comes off the thing. All right, glad you enjoyed the video, sick dog. I'm almost very tempted to pull the pin on the other one, but then it's going to be such a pain to reset the firing pin. What I had to do is, with the other one, is get a really long, thin screwdriver, get this bit off. Hang on, I'll show you what I did, but obviously I'm not going to pull the pin. I might do that when I do a proper video on it, so I can get it all framed and set up. I don't want to pull it on the webcam and then not get a good angle of it, just because of how... It's been very hot all day here, Richard. I need to subscribe to your channel, actually, or is it the same channel? But yeah, when you're next on Mike's one, I'll click on your thing and sub. But because I've been at work, when it's a hot, miserable day in a sense, we're not busy, so that's nice. So yeah, what I had to do was get a screwdriver, the really thin, long one, put the screwdriver on its base on the table, so that was doing that, push that down onto it, and then hook the spoon back in and get it before, you know, letting the tension off. Then I had to hold it like that while I manipulated the pin back in. Because if you don't do that properly, and this is quite funny, my dad was holding it. I said, and he was holding it like this, and I said, whatever you do, don't let go of the spoon. He let go of the spoon, the firing pin shot into his finger, and he had to have a plaster on it, because obviously it just started bleeding out of his finger, where it's like a humane dispatch, how the firing pin works. It just, you know, shoots out on the spring. If you're looking at that one, that's just a Chinese half-face respirator with separate goggles, and they're awful. Only get one if you want one for a costume. Don't get one if you want a decent mask. I'm assuming in theory as well, I could probably swap around these bits on either grenade. So if, for example, I wanted the green one with this bit on, yeah, there we go. It's a universal sized thing, because obviously they're a mass-produced grenade. So there you go. If I wanted to, I can have the green one with the working bit on it, because you see there's more tension on the spoon, where it actually is working with the spring on this one. So if you've played Stalker, the F1 grenades are in Stalker. It's the more powerful grenade. And then, yeah, I could have this one on this one if I wanted. What, the GP5 or the PTM1? Which mask? So, yeah, I don't know which one I'll keep it on. It doesn't really matter, does it? Tell you what, I'll get that back in there and put the firing pin back in. Not really firing pin, but you know, the what I'm gonna have to do, I'll show you how to do this actually. All right, happy birthday, Avon. Yeah, I need to sort out an invite for somebody else, but I need to wait for him to tell me that he's got Discord set up, because I think at the moment he's not got Discord. So I've said to him, you know, once you've got a Discord thing, let me know, then I can send you a thing. But annoyingly, Discord's not working on my server. Oh, the PTM one. Annoyingly, Discord's not working on my PC at the moment. I don't know why. It was working fine when I got the new PC, but there's a Discord update. Now it crashes, right? If you want to reset one of the pins on one of these grenades, get some pliers, put the that bit in the plier, get that basically crushed as much as possible so it's totally flat again. There you go. And then it should be quite easy to let's just get that back in place of the spring. So yeah, now I should just be able to push that through. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's my advice for you. If you're doing one of these grenades and want to reset the thing, just yeah, do that. And what we'll just do is do that slightly. There we go, just so it can't fall out on its own. But my favourite gas mask, the Avon CT12. Cool, I've got both a black and a white one, or grey, whatever colour it is. But yeah, one's just kept in the cupboard. I've just got one on display. I thought because I've got the grey GP5 on there, I just put a black GP5M, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, there we go. That's reset. But yeah, it's a lot easier if you do it with the pliers, because otherwise you end up for ages, especially if you're trying to hold it down under tension, you know, like trying to poke it through, and it's quite difficult. Yeah, well, GP5 is technically the world's cheapest and most produced gas mask, so, you know, there is that. But I don't know, it's very fun playing with grenades. Not that I'd obviously recommend playing with live grenades, but, you know. I kind of want, not that I'd suggest anyone would do this, because obviously it's like the same as pointing a deactivated gun at somebody, but I imagine it would be quite funny if you just threw a grenade at somebody and didn't tell them it was a deactivated one. What word? Elite SAS. But, you know, it's going catch. Imagine somebody's face. I don't think they mind it at all, Avon, because obviously it makes me money and I enjoy doing it. So, you know, I'm sure if it didn't make me money, they wouldn't be very happy with how much of the house I clutter up. But, grenade. Though this would actually be quite dangerous to throw at somebody because of the weight of it and their metal. Obviously, if you threw this at somebody and it hit them in the head, I think that could potentially kill them because it is like throwing essentially like a weight at somebody. Hot potato. Yeah, I'll hold the green one for a bit just so I can put some tension on the... You could have this like a tension thing, couldn't you, when you're stressed? Just keep doing that. Oh, I'm glad they cheer you up, Soviet Union. That's great if they do. Yeah, I think technically, with all the explosive filler and everything in, they're meant to be like 600 to 800 grams, but it does feel heavier than that. As I've not got a scale in my room, I can't do it. But when I did a video on it, I'll weigh them, but I do have a feeling they're heavier than 600 grams. No, that guy, he was doing a meme comment. If you have a name like that guy, it's going to be, you know, you're going to hear people say that guy a lot where they're not even referring to you. When you say hard to get, do you mean hard to order or hard to put on kind of thing? I assume you mean hard to order. No, if you're 18, deactivated guns and everything you can buy. Masks are very easy to buy on eBay or wherever. It depends, of course, how much you want to spend, because some stuff, you know, it depends if it's in your price range or you think it's a justifiable amount of money. Yeah, exactly, Richard. It's that sort of thing, isn't it? I'm assuming somebody must have made a grenade catapult at some point, but I imagine that would work. If not like a little handheld slingshot size one, but I imagine if you had a slightly bigger one. Did they have those in World War One? I'm trying to remember where they had like the kind of, you know, one where you'd put a grenade in it, pull it back, pull the pin, and then it would launch it further than you could throw it. I don't think you have to be 18, but it might depend on the place that sells it. Because a lot of them like people to be 18 just so they're a bit more covered. Because, you know, if they're selling it to an adult and an adult does something stupid, it's totally the adult's fault. Or I suppose if you could make the argument if they sold something to a kid and the kid waved a deac, whatever around, you know, then the place that sold it to them's to blame. Well, my best gas mask, in my opinion, is the Avon CT12, but that's totally down to opinion. Because, like, some of the panoramic full face masks I've got are technically, I'd say better. But, you know, it completely is down to opinion, I'd say. The thing is, I don't know if stick grenades actually can be thrown further. Because pretty much every design of every country after World War II went with grenades like this. Yeah, it is cool. Obviously, it's deactivated. Let's see if I can get it down without knocking loads of stuff over. Because I just need to be careful because the Geiger counter's under it and everything. There we go. Right, so how they've deactivated this, the charging handle moves, but it's not connected to anything. And you can see there that obviously that's welded shut where they've got, you know, the, if I do that, see it doesn't do anything there. The mag and all that still comes out because it's not old spec deactivated, but it's older spec in that sense. Trigger's welded on this, so you can't pull the trigger. The safety's welded, so you can't change the safety. It's just set to R, which is repetition, so semi. The gas tube bit weld, that moves, so that works, but there's no gas tube inside, as you might be able to see. So that's been taken out, you know, the bit that would supply the actual action with gas. Oop, there goes my bit there. But yeah, if you look inside, you can see that part of it's there, but a lot of the other mechanics have been taken out. You can see where the firing pin's been taken out as well, that would have been sat in there. As far as I'm aware, that would be where the firing pin sits. So the firing pin would rest in there and then come out on the thing. And yeah, you'll be able to see where there's some more welds as well inside there, all along that bit. And on the barrel, you should be able to see where the flash hider is. That they've done a weld there somewhere. There it is. Because I haven't got the other light on because it's really hot at the moment. I can't really show that in detail, but it's that bit there. You can see where they've put like a nail kind of thing in and it's just been welded. Yeah, I don't mean a mortar, Preston. I mean like an actual, you know, like a sling thing for a grenade. Right, where did my dust cover fly off to? There it is. So yeah, obviously the dust cover comes off, but dust cover on this can be a bit annoying to put back in because, like, where it's obviously been deactivated, it doesn't quite sit on the thing properly. So it can be quite difficult to get that to properly. There's a rattle in there. Right. I don't know what Australia's laws are like on deactivated guns, but you used to be able to own real SLRs in Australia before they put a lot more restrictions on firearms. Let's see if I can slot that in properly. This is the difficult bit, I was saying, because where they've deactivated it, this doesn't connect back in as it should. So that's still wanting to move around and. You can't own airsofts in Australia. I think, as far as I'm aware, in Australia, airsoft guns are totally illegal, aren't they? Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can get that back in properly. I think it's because, there we go. There we go, that's nice and tight. It's because it's got like a little lip it needs to go into, but it can't always do it properly where they've deactivated it. The worst one I've got is the RPK for that, where you can take bits off, but because of bits that are deactivated, you can't reassemble it as it should reassemble. I had from work a bit of turkey, gravy, or food talk, of course. So gravy, turkey, and parsnips and carrot. So like a mini carvery meal kind of thing. I could have had a lot more if I wanted it, but I'm trying to eat light at the moment because I think eating smaller meals is better with my UC. Like, you know, eating more frequently and often rather than eating bigger meals, because I think that's where it blocks your colon up a bit more and then your body gets angry. I've recommended loads more than the CT12, but Scott M98, Swedish Fashida series, Finnish M71s, Finnish M61s, the Climax 731, Spassiani TR2002, the modern Chinese panoramic respirators, not the pewter ones. There's a lot of options. That's annoying. What was that, passing with an A or what, passing with a C? I don't know how they do it now. They've changed the grading system, haven't they, for GCSEs? Because when I did it, it was like, obviously, A star, A, B, C, D, E, F. I think G, isn't it? And then U if you, like, totally failed it. But now it's like 1 to 9, isn't it? Or 1 to 10? I don't get it. I don't know why they had to change it, because A star and everything makes perfect sense. Right, when I did history, I was absolutely fine in GCSE history, but when I did A-level, half the course was on Stalin's Russia, half the course was on British politics between something like 1700 and 18, whatever it was, right? Have a guess from which of those two I did better on. Just have a guess. I'm sure most of you will get it right if you know a lot of the content on this channel. Yeah, the katana. Yeah, the katana's cool. Katanas definitely aren't my favourite type of swords, but that is quite a good reproduction one. Yeah, the Soviet one I did very well on. I think I got an A on that. But the problem was, because obviously that's only 50% of your, because I don't think there was any coursework for the history one. Because 50% of it came from the British ones, all about like what prime minister passed what law in whatever time. Fuck knows. So yeah, I think I ended up getting a D in A-level history overall. But yeah, like I was saying, it was just because I like lost all the marks on that other paper. Stalin's one I did very well on, but that's just because I find Soviet Union dictators quite interesting. I did a year of A-level, that guy hated it, so I did my exams for first year, then went and got a job. That sounds very good, Mike. Similar to what I had then, just obviously you made it yourself, not when the chefs made it. But yeah, the thing is, Richard, right? I find with a lot of stuff like school, it depends on like how engaging the teacher made it and just how engaging the stuff was. Because there's some subjects I could potentially have done really well on, but you had teachers that just were boring, boring, boring. And then there were other things I did better on than I was expected, but I think that's just because the teachers tried to make lessons as engaging as possible. I don't know that guy because I don't know how the US system works, but A level is what you do after school, ideally, if you want to then go to university. So you do primary education in school, like primary or secondary education, whatever you want to call it. Then you do A levels or take a college sort of thing. And then you go to university. But I think you end up calling universities colleges in the US. But it's basically the same thing. So if you're doing like whatever kind of course at university, that would be what you've done after A levels or college. Yeah, as I was saying, I definitely agree with that, Zeppelin. Like I said, you could have teachers that you just wouldn't learn anything from because they couldn't control a class. All their lessons was, I'm going to write something on a board, read it, and then you picked it up, or read this page on a textbook. And then you had other teachers that tried to make it really fun. Like the history teacher I had for most of GCSEs, he was really good because he, wanted to be really engaged in a lot of it. So he kind of did lots of like weird role play things where they get you to pretend to be people in a different thing, and and then to teach part of history, they get a guy like some reenactors to come in and show you all the weapons of the English Civil War kind of thing. So they'd show you like pikes and muskets and like short swords and all that sort of stuff, and like armor plates and that, and they just line them all up and let you pick them up and that. So that was pretty engaging. So it'd be a bit like, if they were doing a thing on the Soviet Union civil defense, if they got me to come in and show a load of gas masks and Geiger counters. If that's the Romanian one, Peach, I'm pretty sure Bart has one of them. Let's have a look. Yeah, Bart's got one of those, but his Bakelite handle on his isn't as exaggerated as that. Almost looks like leaves, doesn't it, on that one? I don't think it is. I think it's just how the Bakelite's been covered. Yeah, that is nice. I was saying, it looks almost like a leaf sort of floral pattern on that. But I think that's just how the wood grain is, isn't it? Yeah, that's really strange, isn't it? It literally looks like almost like a real tree kind of thing. But it's not. It's just the wood grain, as far as I can tell. Unless there is the kind of texture they've put on top of the wood. I don't know. Well, I could have done one if I wanted to with all like uni, but I didn't because I didn't see the point of getting in debt for a thing I might not even be able to make use of. I mean, obviously, if you're going to uni for something you really want to do, that's different, isn't it? But when I was at school, they were trying to pressure everybody doing A levels and going to uni. And when I was in sixth form was when the tuition fees went up. And that was just when I was like, fuck this. I don't want to suffer through another year of sixth form to then do even more stuff like that. I want to get a job and earn money. I used to get in trouble in RE a lot because I just used to laugh at a lot of the religious stuff because I thought it was crazy. And I said, I don't mind. People can have whatever opinions they want, you know what I mean, on that sort of stuff. But I just found it, a bit silly reading things about what all different religions do and whatever. And I just thought, you know, what's that got to do with me? Right, it's on a filter, so I have to see how well I can get it down. But So I don't want to knock all this off. Right. Well, the thing is, Adam, I think a lot of people that go to uni just do it because they're pressured into it, or they think it's good for an education or whatever. And again, if you're going to uni because it's a subject you're really interested in, you want a career in it, then it makes sense. But so many people go to uni and then just do pointless degrees that are never going to get them a job. Because that was the thing when I used to work in Oxford. There was loads of people I used to work with doing the same minimum wage job as me that had uni degrees that were getting them nowhere. You know, they didn't even have any prospects of getting a better job. Like, you know, oh, you've got, you know, whatever master's degree in whatever. Wow, great. You're still doing a minimum wage job with me, but you've got a load of debt. You know, where's it got you? I don't want to say that to be a dick, but, you know, there's some people that have a very entitled attitude because they've got a degree in something. Like, so what? You know, if you're a doctor of medicine or somebody who had done an important science, yeah, I think that would be good. But you're somebody who has a basic history degree. Yeah, criminology is interesting. So yeah, that's the mask itself. The filters, they just twist round on there, right? You can, if I can get the right bit to turn, there we go. You can take these out. That's the filter itself. These are useless filters, by the way, because they do not block any smells whatsoever, and they're meant to. So yeah, let's put that back on. If I can get it even to screw in, because it's not very good at that. There we go. Right, so strap-wise, you've got a top strap and a bottom strap, so that's not very good. It's not like a head harness one. My favourite sword is my falchion, because it's the one I paid a big commission on. Right. So, the best way of doing this would be to put one strap lower and one strap like that. I think these look cool, but they're just useless. So, it does sort of pressurize your face, so there is that. If you're using it for basic dust kind of stuff, it's all right. The goggles are very cheap and flimsy as well. That's like really thin plastic in there that doesn't even sit tight in the frame. I don't know if you can see that, but it like flexes horribly in there. So then, so there you go. If you wanted to get one of these to do some sort of post-apocalyptic sort of thing, yeah, it'd look good for a costume. But in terms of being a good mask, no, it's shit. So there you go. That's my opinion on these cheap Chinese. I'll do a proper video on this because I reviewed it on the live stream. But I'll do a proper video with other cheap Chinese half face masks and explain why this one is awful. But yeah, if it had decent filters, this wouldn't be too bad. Because the good thing about this... Oh, and one of the straps is pinged off again, because that's another problem with this mask, is that the straps are really bad. Like, see how frayed they are? They're like really bad straps are actually wanting to actually, has that pinged off totally, or could that be fixed? Oh no, I think I could fix that. Never mind. Yeah, no, that's fine. But yeah, the problem is, like saying, it has a rubber thing that seals to your face, so it's not too bad in that regard. It makes a decent face seal. The issue with this is, like I was just saying, is just if they put decent straps on it, it'd be fine, but they didn't. Yeah, there you go, Archie. I'll get them back out. If it's smelly dog poo, I don't blame you. So you can tell they're deact because hole cut in the bottom look. And if I'm to unscrew the top bit, just because I don't think you saw Archie obviously earlier in the stream, if I unscrew the, like, you know, fuse detonator bit, so you can see all the way through it. I mean, they pull my boxes down, Peach, because, you know, like you said, if you had both on, that'd be like 2 kilos hanging off. Oh, that's the wrong way around. The good design with these Soviet ones is apparently what they could do is they could unscrew that and you could put different types of fuse mechanisms on. So what you could actually do is, like, apparently they, like, if they wanted to use it specifically for tripwires, they had a different design one of those so you could bury the grenade more efficiently. Yeah, cheek filter masks are weird. Do you remember which cheek filter mask it was? Oh, you said you forgot which one. Yeah, the Chinese M65 is probably the weirdest cheek filter mask. Grenade's name? Another cheeky breaky of Damga. No, I'm not going to pull that because it's a pain to reset. Oh, that's cool, ADG. They're worth like £40 to £60 each now. So yeah, if you sold them, you could get like over £100 for both of those, or you can keep them. Apparently, this is just a copy of the French F1 grenade. And so was the US pineapple grenade. Was it the M2, whatever it was called, from World War II? But the thing is, the Soviets kept sort of improving the design over the years, where a lot of other nations just went to different design grenades. Yeah, all of those are 40mm Ghost. Yeah, then it's just because your threads have been damaged either on the filter or the mask. So obviously, if they've been dented, it's not going to screw into one as well as the other, but they are exactly the same. Like, see, of the GP5M, the GP5, you can't really see the bottom of the hose there from the GP4. The PDF's hose, see, they're all literally 40mm Ghost threads. So yeah, any Soviet filter should screw into any of the, and the MM1 40mm Ghost intake. All of them should, you know. Would it be a modern fashion thing for somebody to get their ears pierced and have like 2 grenades hanging out rather than those like ear gouge things kind of have this? Yeah, I saw that one, Richard, that Paul Harrell did. Yeah, so it's basically, you know, modding the grips so it's more comfortable to shoot, you know, where you don't need all the tactical accessories on them, do you? Yeah, post-apocalyptic fashion, or like warlord fashion, I guess. I suppose you could do basic weight training with grenades, couldn't you? Cheers, Soviet Union. Also, thank you for the new people that signed up on Patreon. I appreciate that. And somebody bought a GP5 phone case on Teespring the other day. So thanks for that. Because for whatever reason, the phone cases on Teesprings give a better profit margin. I mean, I set the prices myself, but like the default phone cases are a decent profit margin without being extortionate. Because the problem is, on Teespring, some of the things are quite expensive anyway. So I have the profit margin set really small for them, so it's not a rip-off price for the sort of buyer. But the phone cases aren't too bad, all things considered, like what all phone cases cost. So I just leave them at the default price. That way I still make a few pounds on them, you know, without it being like I'm only making £1 or £2. The price already seeming expensive. What have you found there, Peach? Let me open it up. That's cool. Don't know if I'd pay £45 for a grenade, especially a practice grenade that doesn't have a filler in, does it? But yeah, it's cool. Let's search for grenade. I'd love to get a Soviet RDG5 grenade as well, but the Mills bomb's like £120. So I wouldn't pay that for one, but there's a deactivated Lee Enfield grenade launcher, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you get the Lee Enfield of it or if it's just a grenade launcher. Oh, a working bolt action. So yeah, you actually literally get for £400 a Lee Enfield that was converted to fire grenades. That's cool. I kind of want one of those. If you haven't seen it, let me just put the link into the chat. Right, let me actually have a look and see if my top 10 scariest gas masks video hit 1 million things. Because normally when they hit that, my YouTube thing on my phone's like, your video hit this many views. Share it to celebrate. But I don't think it has with this one. But let me have a look. Oh, yeah, that would make sense, Peach. Yeah, it is what the Jawas use, isn't it? Yeah, you're totally right on that, Peach. I didn't even figure that. I know they had Lee Enfields, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? But yeah. What other grenades are there on here? Hungarian stick grenades are only £10. Next time I order from D&B, I might get a Hungarian stick grenade, considering they're just £10. They look quite different from the German stick grenades, but they're cheap. You could buy a box of 15 inert grenades for £225. But saying that, they're just handle grenades that aren't very much to buy separately anyway, so I don't think you'd save much money. I think you'd actually waste more money buying it that way. Yeah, you would, because it's cheaper to buy the grenades separately than buy them in a box. Okay. I suppose you get the box of it, but it's just a wooden crate. Never played Fortnite, never planned to. Years and years ago, Soviet Union. Let's have a look. Views. Yeah, 999,701 views. So I guess by tomorrow, that will be 1 million views. I was going to say 100 million views, that would be nice, but it's not like that. Let's have a look while we're on here if there's any other cool deactivated things. So as I said, a lot of deactivated things are a lot more expensive now, but I am interested on here in case they get anything that, you know, is not too bad. Because sometimes you can get guns in bad condition, which aren't too much, especially when it's just like damage to the wooden furniture or something. Let's have a look on antique guns just in case there's something that's not too much. Let's sort them by price. If you wanted to pay 1.2 grand, you could get a live firing revolver because it's an actual antique one. That'd be pretty cool, but I don't think it's quite worth that, to be honest. Well, I suppose if it is an original one from the 1800s, it might be worth that, but let's have a look at some other deactivated guns. Pistols. I'd love to get a Makarov if they have some for a decent price. Post-World War II. Sort by price. See, it's annoying because they've got replica Denix Browning high powers that look quite nice for £85. But of course, I can't buy one of those because I don't have a UCARA. There's like a rolling block pistol. That's quite cool. What else is there? Deactivated SIG P6 pistol for £400. I'll go back to the chat in a second. I'm just obviously reading the axe to see if there's anything particularly interesting on there. It's an FN57. I don't know why they have one of those deactivated, but that's £800. You can sometimes get flare guns for only about £100, but I suppose they're not all that valuable. Let me just search Makarov in case there are any on there. No, only rounds from Makarovs. What about Tokarevs? Are there any Tokarevs on there? No Tokarevs for sale either. That's a shame. I wouldn't mind. Wouldn't mind getting a Tokarev. Depends on which type. AK-74 over an AR-15, AR-15 over an AKM. I have no idea what you're on about, name. Yeah, mine's got the bayonet lug, Peach. Sort of a few inches from the top of the barrel. Yeah. So I think that's technically the M1A1 carbine, isn't it? Rather than just the first gen M1. But I've seen deactivated SA80s, but they're normally like £1 to £2 because at the point I got my FAL, which is down there now, not on the wall. Yeah, my FAL was like £400, and L85s were like £1.5 then. So yeah, seems a bit much for one. I have no idea what you're on about, still name. No, you know I hate the Scott GSR Frosty. P38s would be very expensive. Anything Nazi German is expensive, basically. You're going to have to explain to me what it is rather than just saying search it. You have to put a comment saying what it is. Alright, fair enough, Peach. It's hot in Britain at the moment. But same old shit, really, as usual. If it's E-drama type stuff name, I have no interest in that. Do finger training, couldn't you, with these? Don't know if that would actually damage your tendons if you did it for too long. What Diak rifle would you get, Peach? And if you got Diak rifle? Oh, that's very cool. Let me look that up, VS. I'd have to find somewhere that sells them over here. Because trying to import something like that would probably get you raided by the police. But it does sound very interesting. If Google's doing that thing where it doesn't want to let me copy and search. There we go. Yeah, they look nice. There's some on Gunstar for £100 to £200 sort of price. Annoyingly, a lot of them seem to be you have to collect in person, like they won't send it via a courier, which is a bit annoying on Gunstar. Let's see if PAL packs have anything like that in. Right, Makarov. The only Makarov that they have that's anywhere close to that is the Umarex one. Umarex pistols are right because I have the Umarex. What's it? PX4 Storm. Yeah, £100 maybe. Although I'm tempted at some point to buy one of those gas blowback MP40s for shits and giggles. Hind, definitely, Me-24. The Apaches, it depends what you want it for, but I'd say Hind's better than the Cobra, Apache's better than the Hind, but again, it depends what you want it for, because the Hind was a jack-of-all-trades chopper, you know, heavily armoured, fast, could carry a lot of armaments, and could ferry troops. All right, Himiko. What have you found there? Mike, let me have a look. Oh, that's not a bad price, isn't it? £170. I assume that this place, do they do a thing where they deliver to you like PAL packs do? I'll bookmark that. Yeah, bookmark that because that looks good. But yeah, the furniture looks nicer on that one than the Uma X one. But as the guy said, that might be because it's actually real Makarov furniture on it rather than being a It'd be good for a bit of Stalker cosplay, wouldn't it, with the F1 grenades as well? What's that about an SKS Peach? Oh, D&B has an SKS, I would get that. Or a deactivated one. What have they welded the bolt shut? There's no shovel in the background. Whereabouts are you looking? I know you said behind me to the right, but what, over there? Somewhere over there? Because again, the camera's inverted to the actual room. My Avon CT12. No competition. Folding bayonet. Do you mean a folding bayonet? Well, my actual rights are there. No shovel there. There's a training spear, some bows, a sign. If you're looking at anything down there, you can see the barrel of some of the guns down there, but there's not a shovel. Life of Boris is some cheeky breaky guy, isn't he? Yeah, did it on Thursday exclusion. Oh, luckily that didn't hit me on the foot because that could have broken my toe. But Warriors come out to play. Right. Let's reset this guy. Yeah, the grenades are nearly a kilo name. Obviously, they're just solid steel casing. There we go. I get a lot. You know, as I've said, I kind of hate that I was one of the originators in that cheeky breaky meme, if you didn't know about it, because there was an old channel a friend had, and I made that Meet the Bandits video. Obviously, there's no way you can get that verified, but I think a lot of you will know it was actually me. But I do kind of hate what that meme's become, because it's so popular now, and it's kind of lost its original joke. I love Stalker Soviet Union. I stream it sometimes. But yeah, you know, to Meet the Bandits one with the Bandit radio playing and the sort of sort of stuff with the pain noises on that Russian hard bass video. But yeah, like I said, I kind of regret making that now just because of how popular the cheeky breaky things become. Because I mean, there was cheeky breaky stuff before that, but that was just generally like stalker images. I work with a couple of Polish people. We have a family friend that's Polish. I don't think anybody in my immediate, no, obviously nobody in my immediate group of friends is Polish. I don't know what I was thinking about that, but they're all like English people from local areas. Beef store who I chat with quite a lot online, who sent me a load of surplus stuff for free, and he sells stuff on eBay. He's Polish. What one's that, Mike? That might have been the one I was looking at if it was the Umarex one. Oh, it's a Gamma one. Yeah, I wouldn't go for that one, Mike, just because although it, looks like a Makarov, I definitely want one of the ones with, like, the brown kind of bake-like grip. What do you mean, what's up with all the S10s, Gaming Rabbit? You have to be more specific. If it's a Call of Duty game, it's not going to be a very realistic shooter, let's be honest. Or are they coming back on the surplus market for a good price? Let's have a look, because if they are, that's very good for the people who want them. I don't need any more S10s, but, for the people who would like an S10 gas mask, that is good, because a lot of people moan at me that they cost too much. Yeah, buy it now, £35. Buy it now, £60. Buy it now, £59. One at £21 of bids. The red outserts that I've got, the genuine ones, are £44 at the moment. That's a lot. How much at the moment, though? There's still quite a lot that are expensive, but how much are FM12s? Because other than that £30 S10, if you're going over 60, I'd just say go for you can get a pre-owned FM12 for £45. So I'd just go for that, to be honest, because the FM12 is better than the S10. What, on the actual level in Modern Warfare 2, Frosty, or the meme? Yeah, that looks better, Mike. That's the kind of thing I was on about. That's the non-blowback one. I'd probably go for the Umarex one if I didn't go for one of those ones made from the actual parts, because the Umarex one is blowback, and looks the closest to the original other than ones that use the Makarov parts. Yeah, I do like the look of those. I don't know what they cost in the US, obviously, because I'm not in the US, but yeah. Yeah, there's still 5 or so minutes left, GP5. And speaking of Soviet stuff, there you go. Granada. Yeah, that's the thing, Mike. That's why I've said, now I'll probably just end up buying a lot more air guns, because you can actually shoot them and get some enjoyment out of them. I mean, I get enjoyment from Deac guns, but you know what I mean? But, again, if I just get this out to show people. The, licensed Beretta PX4 I've got from Rex. If you're wondering why it's a bit weird coloured there, it's where I've just put the silicone lubricant on it, and it's a bit heavier in some places than others. Obviously, if I loaded that, obviously it's an air pistol, but not a Deac. But you can get something like this for £100 as opposed to a few £100 for a Deac one that won't do as much. You don't actually put a GP5 around your neck, though. It goes around that bit of your chin, unless that's what you mean. But you don't put your head too far forwards into a GP5, because if you do that, it won't be airtight. You have to have the GP5 kind of around that bit of your face. All right, yeah. Well, S10s are up to that price, Gavea. That's very expensive. If I was paying that sort of money for a mask, I'd want a brand new one produced in the same year with some filters from the factory with all the accessories. Well, they're not worth anything, GP5. GP5 for GP5s and MC1, so just open them and do what you want with them. It's not like, a rare antique old military mask. It is literally, a mass-produced combi mask. So open it. There's no collector's value to them. Yeah, or they could have just sold them to America, couldn't they, Mike? There's loads of things. It's like when I get really angry when the police have the gun confiscations or the amnesties, you know, people handing guns that are actually really valuable. They're like, here is a rare antique gun. Let's put it in a crusher. Give it to a museum. Sell it. Do something with it. Don't bloody crush an antique. Imagine on Bargain Hunt if they're like, you know, the police, there has been an amnesty on stolen antiques, so now we're crushing them with a bulldozer. You'd be like, why? People would consider that like horrible if it wasn't a gun, you know, but because it's a gun, oh no, crush it. Because that's the thing, like where Mike always says about, you know, how America's different with the actual gun culture. I think that would apply there. You know, people in the UK are probably like, oh, it's good they're taking those dangerous guns and putting them in a crusher. People, you know, in America are probably like, why? You know, because they actually, in America, if there were confiscated guns or guns handed in amnesty, surely they'd do something with them other than destroy them. What about Australia, Soviet Union? It's a pretty cool country. I've never been to Australia, but I've quite a lot of Australian subscribers and everything. Yeah, just dish soap, a foam cloth or whatever, GP5, just gently give it like a rub. Right, the person that's just been putting stupid spam messages in the chat is getting blocked because of the fact they're obviously doing it to try and troll everybody. It's not working. But yeah. Why would you hate America, Gavea? Why would you hate America? That's not very patriotic of you. Or Iceland, the place that sells food, Frosty, the supermarket kind of thing, or Iceland, the country. I've never been to Iceland. My parents have, and they loved it. As in the supermarket, it's quite cheap if you want to buy frozen food. Yeah. Who would win, the people with the guns or the people that don't like the guns? Can't work that out. Right, you're getting a timeout for that. I'm not going to have anybody like do anti-homophobic or anti-LGBTQ and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know if you're making a joke or not, but don't do that again or you're getting a block. All right, cheers, DJ Skull. But the thing is, I have no problem with anybody, you know, gay, straight, white, black, whatever. You know, it's meant to be people can come in here and have a laugh, you know, have a good time. I don't want anybody shoving their stupid politics of I don't like X type of people or whatever in here. But yeah, cheers, DJ Skull. You know, if you don't like certain groups of people, keep it to yourself. You're welcome to your own opinions, but I don't want them on my stream. Yeah, I'd love to go to America and go target shooting at some point. I might do that in 2 years' time. Next year, I want to go to Chernobyl. My dad wants to go to Chernobyl. So that'll probably be my holiday for next year. My holiday for, 2 years' time, yeah, that could be America. Because I definitely would like to visit America. The thing is, I'm not saying that people have to like everybody. It's just I don't like it when people come on here and then start having their own, like essentially bigoted views on things, because that doesn't represent me at all. I don't know if I could live stream it, Lucas, but I'll certainly film videos, that's for sure. Because that's the thing, everybody's welcome to their opinions, but they're not necessarily, I don't want their opinions on here, you know. If that makes sense. I don't want to go off on a tangent on that, and I'm finishing the stream now, but that's the thing. I have no problem with people for whatever, skin color, sexuality, whatever like that. But you sometimes get that on streams where people keep coming on and they keep making points like, oh, I hate gay people for this reason, all this sort of stuff. And it's like, fucking grow up. That's cool. I've got a couple of old canteens, Adam, but the only old Soviet one I have is the orange plastic one that the PMK comes with. I've got an old East German canteen, an old Czechoslovakian canteen, a British military canteen, which I think is under my bed. Maybe. Might not be. It might be somewhere else at the moment. Because the British canteen, I actually fill up and sometimes take places if I need a canteen. I've not been to Romania, PKM P5, but I've got a Romanian car. I've got a Dacia, and I like that. But in general, I'm sure Romania's a nice place. I've been to Poland and Hungary and, lots of places in Central and Eastern Europe, and they've always been lovely countries. It always surprises me sometimes, when you go to a country like that and, the streets are really clean compared to lots of parts of the UK and stuff like that. So you sometimes go to these countries that, are officially, like meant to be poorer and less well off than the UK, and you realise that a lot of things over there actually seem a lot better. Because I guess the governments and companies are investing in upgrading a lot of stuff, where in the UK, lots of stuff's stagnating now. Oh, exactly, Soviet Union, that's my thing. I mean, like I said, people can have their own gripes if they want them, but I just don't like it when, people keep bringing them up on stream. It's like, okay, but, My GM38, I think, was about £30, Bolding Tolsky, but it's not in good condition. If you wanted like one in really good preserved condition, that'd probably be like over £100, I imagine. Yeah, it's. I've got an Osprey pouch for it, Adam. Not Osprey pouch, for an MTP pouch that can connect to the Osprey vest, or you can wear it on about. But yeah, it's. I think it actually holds 1.1 liters of water when I've put on the scales, zeroed the scales, and then filled it with water. It holds just over a liter of water, but yeah, it's the one where you can put the S10 or the GSR or like the FM12 connector top on. I think it's the same type of canteen the Dutch army uses as well, because the Dutch seem to, for whatever reason, use a lot of the very similar equipment to Britain. All right, I don't know if I'll catch you on Twitch tonight. If I'm free, Mike, I will, but I think Bart said he wanted to play some stuff on Steam, so I'll see you if I see you. If not, I'm sure there'll be other people on to have a chat. But yeah, Nell says she's going on everything. Right, I'll finish the stream now because I've been on for nearly an hour and 10 minutes. Thanks, other than the people putting their weird opinions on things on here that aren't really welcome with me. Thanks for joining in. It's been a good stream. Yeah, I agree, Soviet Union. I mean, people aren't going to get along, but, like I said, there's a lot of times where people seem to hate other people for no good reason. But anyway, I don't want to get caught up on that. Stream's over. Thanks, everybody. It's been a good stream. Thank you for the people that supported me on Patreon recently. And also thank you to the people that have bought stuff on Teespring. For whatever reason, Teespring's not showing my current thing. Let me do the last 7 days. There we go. Now it's done. Yeah. There we go. But yeah, thanks, everybody. And I will see you on the stream tomorrow. Not short time yet. Maybe in the evening. I don't know. Right. See you then. Oh, sorry. That's fine then. Yeah, tyrannical. Sorry. Yeah, it's when you said that. Yeah, I see what you mean. Authoritarian, tyrannical. Sorry, I thought you were saying like, like an anti-gay kind of thing. That's fine then. Yeah, that's why I did a timeout rather than block you in case it wasn't that. But I just sometimes get people come on here and then start saying, like, oh, I hate gay people, all this and blah, 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 and it just pisses me off. Right, see ya. Bye. And then I need to work out what the end stream button is. It's there. Right, bye.